Hey everybody, Rob here. It's time for a few stories from Tales from Tech Support. First one, new account and login are the same thing, right? Let's jump right in. Please consider subscribing for more daily Reddit stories. My job role was recently made redundant and I was given a position in a different government department doing something very different that, amongst other things, involves offering basic tech support for an online account system. I'm learning a lot, including not to trust users when they tell me they followed my instructions. The people that access these accounts own their own company or work within the finance or HR departments of a company, so I assumed that basic computer literacy and language comprehension skills would be common. Never assume. There's two types of accounts you can have: user accounts and company accounts. You need a user account in order to log into a company account. I had a 55-minute call today with a genuinely lovely yet flustered lady who would not listen to what I was saying. It went like this, paraphrased from memory and edited to be non-specific. I'm trying to add my email to the account and I can't get in. Are you getting any error messages? There's an error. No problem. What does the error say exactly? It says my email is already in use. That sounds like you already have a user account with that email. I can check that for you. I don't have one. My husband has one. He's the one who logs into the account usually, but he's not here. Are you using your husband's email address or your own? We have the same email address. Okay, so that's the problem. You can't have two users with the same email address. If you give me another email address, I can add that to the company account for you. After passing a security check, you then just need to log in to accept the account invitation. It's imclueless@helpme.com. Great, so I've sent an account invitation to imclueless@helpme.com. Can you please refresh your email client for me and click the link in the email? Okay, it's asking me to create a user account. Don't do that, you have an account. I've just authorized it on the system for you. You just need to log in to accept. Click the login button and type in your email address and it will let you choose a password. It says no invitations exist. That's strange because the link in the email is a direct link to invite you to the company account. Can you click the link again for me and press login? It still says no invitations exist. Are you sure you're clicking login and not create new user account? I was getting rather suspicious. Should I create a new account? Please don't. No, you just need to log into the account linked to the email address you've just given me. That's the email I've linked to your company account. There's no login button. So when you click the link in the email I sent you, it should bring you to a page. Don't click anything except the link and let me know when you're on that page. There's no invitations. I don't understand why it's doing this. Did you click anything other than the link I gave you? No, it just keeps saying no invitation. It wouldn't say that unless you click login or new account. Let's try again. Open the email for me. It's open. I can hear clicking. Don't click anything yet. Read my email to me. To authorize your account, you must log in using the link below. Great. The link should be blue. Just click it once for me and nothing else. Do you see the words login? I hear clicking. It says no invitation. The email doesn't work. Can you send me a new one? Absolutely. You should have that now. Please click the link and nothing else. We repeated the process with the new link 3 more times. No success. Right, this isn't working, so we'll try once more and then I'll have to send this issue to the department's specialist tech team to investigate since your email won't connect to the account. Please just press the login button, nothing else. I clicked it and it worked. Shall I create a password? Yes, please do that. Shall I use the same password as my husband? I wouldn't recommend that. Another password would be better. It says you have 1 invitation. Should I accept? Yes, that's perfect. Please accept. I wonder why it worked that time and not the others. Funny, isn't it? Maybe it heard me threaten it with the tech team. Ha! So is that all okay for you? Yes. So now I'm in the account. Can you help me do insert rather complex financial nonsense? Of course, no problem. And on the call continued, still bumpy, but much smoother. I think she almost trusted my instructions by the end. If you made it this far, you deserve a drink. I definitely need one. To this day, I think OP still doesn't know what the user was clicking on. Having worked tech support myself before, I know it can be one of the most frustrating jobs to be in. OP handled this very well. On to our next story. That time I fixed an aircraft with just one finger. Let's jump right in. The events I describe here took place last year. This story begins with my looking at the work package for an aircraft that had just been towed inside the hangar for a maintenance visit. The work package is a ring binder full of paperwork laying out what maintenance is to be done and some of the information we engineers need to follow in order to perform said maintenance. It never has everything we need in it. One of the work orders in the work package said, "Co-pilot screen blank." This is verbatim. For the purposes of this post, I looked up the work order in the computerized maintenance record system that was designed for my employer and which was implemented about a dozen years ago, several years late and several 100% over budget. What is this screen you speak of, I hear you say? To quote Dean from The Curiosity Show, "I'm glad you asked." The screen is part of the aircraft's electronic flight instrument system, EFIS, pronounced EFIS because in aviation we love to convert our acronyms into words. This is a suite of processors and electronic displays that is found in most modern aircraft, which has taken the place of all the mechanical instruments that used to present all of the information to the pilots. Fun fact, many helicopters have a tuft of string attached outside the front of the windscreen. This is to show the pilot whether the helicopter is flying straight or yawing, but I digress. A single EFIS primary flight display, PFD, now might have all of the information previously presented by a dozen or more separate steam-driven instruments and indicators. In the old days, EFIS systems had small, breathtakingly expensive CRT displays. Nowadays, they have small, breathtakingly expensive LCD displays. Anywho, as I'm sure many of you have experienced in your respective IT careers with your receipt of trouble tickets such as printer won't print or computer broken, I was left wanting more details. As I am sure many of you have experienced in your respective IT careers, more details were unavailable because the user, in this case the pilot, was now no longer at his workstation. A replacement PFD, if needed, would have to be shipped from overseas and would cost more than 10 Northern Hemisphere kilo monies, which would translate to even more Southern Hemisphere kilo monies due to the international currency trade. So it was important that I figure out what was wrong sooner rather than later. To this end, I entered the aircraft and powered it up. As the avionics system initialized, I noticed that I could see information on the co-pilot PFD, but the display was very dim. I extended my right index finger and pressed the rocker switch in the corner of the display bezel, and the screen became fully bright. I pressed the rocker the other way, and the screen returned to its erstwhile dim state. I pressed the rocker a third time until the screen was fully bright again. Then I shut down power and exited the aircraft. The time elapsed between turning the power on and turning it off again was about 2 minutes. The PFD was only visible to me because the aircraft was inside the hangar and it was consequently quite dark in the cockpit. If the aircraft had been outside in full sunlight, the display screen would have been too dim to see anything. This is the fun part, for values of fun that include tedious and irritating. Once a work order is created in the computerized maintenance record system I mentioned earlier, it cannot be deleted. In addition, by regulation, all aircraft maintenance has to be done in accordance with a documented and approved procedure. How to adjust the brightness of an EFIS PFD was one of the pieces of required information that was not provided in the work package. We have a guy who is paid less than an aircraft maintenance engineer whose job it is to create the work packages. So I then spent almost half an hour looking for something that told me how to press the rocker switch to brighten or dim the display. There was nothing in the aircraft maintenance manual, but I eventually found the requisite information. a single sentence in several hundred pages comprising the System Pilot Operating Guide, with more time to write up in the work order the story of what I had done, adjusted display brightness and system operation checked, found to be correct in accordance with EFIS system marketing name, Pilot's Operating Guide section blah, added on, I ended up booking 36 minutes in the customer billing system. While checking the computerized system to refresh my memory for this post, I discovered that colleague who had nothing to do with pressing the switch had booked half an hour to the work order as well, which meant that the customer was billed 1.1 hours for me to press a button. If all of this wasn't done on a business jet that cost the owner several $1,000,000, I might be concerned about the overcharging. That's not really my problem in the end. It's my job to push buttons and use ink to make marks on rectangular pieces of dried wood pulp. You'd think if the co-pilot was being tasked with something like, flying an airplane, they would know a little bit about the airplane they're flying. Specifically, that one little button could have solved their issue. I like the way that OP summed it up in the TLDR. It was a question of, co-pilot screen blank, answer, these go up to 11. I'd like to thank both OPs for posting their stories to the Tales from Tech Support subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you in the next one.